Today we're going to be taking a look at managing credit, whether it's no credit, bad credit, good credit. We're just going to take a look at some of the things. And I'm going to throw this little quick disclaimer out there. When it comes to talking about credit, I know there's a lot of people that think that they've got a pretty good handle on it or no, but like I tell my classes every day, please keep in mind that where you may have some knowledge, there might be some other people that don't. And I think it's just really good that we all get a new refresher anyway too. So that's kind of what today is about. So I'm going to start with a question of the day. Our question of the day is, what is the average FICO score for Americans? We know it plays a big role in our daily life, can determine the interest rate a consumer is going to pay for credit cards, loans, mortgages, or whether they will get a loan at all. Average credit scores most recently bottomed at about 686 during the housing crisis. There was a sharp increase in foreclosures. They have since steadily ticked higher. And does anybody have a guess of what the average is today?
Say 712.
712? That's a good guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna go lower and say around 690.
Okay, all right. Well, the average score today is 704. It was 700 for a while, and now it's bumped up just a little bit. And so again, your credit score is going to range from 300 to 850. And so 704 is a very decent credit score. And a couple things, one question I always like to ask, for people is, do you know what your FICO score is? And if you do know, how does that compare to the national average? And if no, we'll kind of talk about some of the ways that we can find that out as well. Do you think average score of 704 represents good or bad credit?
Slightly better than average.
Okay. Agree to that? Okay. And what advice would you give to someone who has a FICO score of 650, wants to increase it?
I guess the thing that, well, growing up, my mom just said, have good credit.
Yeah, I'd
That
say
was
try
pretty much
and
it.
pay down your debts as quickly as you can.
Okay.
Debt to credit ratio.
All right.
Big deal.
Great. And again, we're going to talk about the breakdown of some of that as we go through here too. I've also included this, and when you get the presentation, you can actually go online and you can look at FICO Credit Score Estimator. I'll click on that real quick. We'll just take a real quick look at it. And it just asks some very general questions. How many credit cards do you have? And we'll just kind of play around with it real quick here. Let's just say we have 2 to 4 credit cards, but let's say that we've had it for 10 to 15 years. How long ago did you get your first loan? Let's say that's in that same 10 to 15 year range. How many credit cards have we applied for? Let's say we haven't applied for any. We're happy with what we have. When was the last time you opened a new loan or credit card? Let's say that was more than 6 months ago. Currently have a balance. Say we're doing pretty well. Total balance on all of your loans. Let's say that we're a little bit on the high side here. So let's go, we'll actually take it all the way down here to 20,000 plus. Let's say that we've always been on time though, and we have nothing past due. Let's say that our balance is at about 20 to 29%. Never experienced a bankruptcy. And this will give us a quick average, so that would be pretty good. So you can play around with it a little bit. This is something that I love using in my classrooms too, just for kids. And kids that don't necessarily have their first credit card yet, but just let them play around just to see what it means to have and keep and maintain credit. So probably should define credit. Credit is borrowed money that you can use to purchase goods or services when you need them. You get credit from a credit grantor whom you agree to pay back the amount that you've spent plus any applicable finance charges and agreed upon time. Basic definition for you. And then, of course, the question, credit, is it good or bad? I know I introduced a little bit of Dave Ramsey to you guys at the last session. And if Dave Ramsey is standing in front of you, he is telling you, don't worry about it. Credit is, can be a bad thing, get you in a lot of trouble. One of the things that I push with my students, and my students come in with really a mixed bag of feelings about it because they've heard stories from their parents. And so when I ask the question, is credit good or bad? It's pretty funny how many of them will say, I'm just going to stay away from it, But I try to push this point with them. Credit isn't evil at all. It's amoral. It's not good. It's not bad. It's how you use it. So when you consider from that perspective, It has nothing to do with credit itself. Credit is just simply a tool. It's there for us to use, it's there for us to have. How we use it is what's going to make it good or it's going to make it bad in our lives. These are the types that you're going to run into. Revolving credit, which includes credit cards. Revolving just simply means you've got a balance, or you've got a line of credit that they give you. You can use up to a certain amount. You can use a little bit of it. You don't have to use it at all. Installment credit would be our car loans and things like that. Service contracts would be our cell phone bills, utilities, those types of things. And then our charge cards and accounts, those are the ones that we just simply put on an account for a month at a time, and usually we're supposed to be paying those off in full each month. So those are some of the different types that we're going to run into.